Happy Thursday. We are back for the thought for the day. And I promised you when we finished James, we were going to do some spontaneous messages. Well, I've got a doozy for you today. Sorry, there's something flying in my face. This is kind of a two-part message. It starts off, basically, I'm going to tell you a story of something that happened to me. This is a true story. And I am also going to change the plot on you, because what you think is going to happen doesn't happen, and instead I do something very different. But why? Because the Holy Spirit stopped me from doing what I was about to do. And in the process, I'm basically going to call myself out a little bit here and use this as a learning experience for all of us. Because my videos are not for me to come at you and tell you what you're supposed to do. My videos are me learning as I go and sharing that with you. So, in this video, you'll get to see a little glimpse into my world. So, let's start by me setting the scene so I can tell you this little story. So stick with me to the end, because it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Okay, so I'm at Dollar General, right? Well, you know how Dollar General seems to have a knack for everybody goes on break when everybody needs to check out. So I'm in a line where there's one cashier, and there's probably, not exaggerating, 10 people or so that are trying to get checked out. So there's a really long line, right? So I look around at all the people in the line, just I'm bored, nothing else to do. And there's a lot of different kinds of people in this line, right? A lot of shapes, sizes, different color hair, different color skin, different attitude. There's one guy that's back there just kind of bouncing from foot to foot, like I'm not sure what he had in his Wheaties, but he has a lot of energy. There's another guy that's like, yeah, life is good, man. It's great. Yeah. So, I don't know what he had in his Wheaties, but they're opposite ends of the scale, whatever's going on there. Point of that is just simply that there are lots of people to choose from. And then, of course, there's me and all my glory and all my big mess that is me. I am not in my church clothes. Matter of fact, I think I was wearing a shirt that shows the tattoos on my arms and shoulder, but I'm still me, right? So harmless. But anyhow, I also see this woman up ahead of me, probably 2 or 3 people up ahead of me, and I see her also looking around. And then I see her catch a glimpse of me. And you know that thing that you do when you don't want somebody to know that you're I'm sorry. Okay, when you don't want somebody to know that you're looking at them, but you really want to look at them. And so you turn your head just a little bit, but then you turn your eyes as far as they will go in the direction of the person so that you can see without really turning your head all the way around. Okay, so this is happening, right? I'm like, oh man, here we go again. Because this is not my first rodeo, okay? Being me kind of gets me in predicaments sometimes. Anyhow, I get so tickled about this. So I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, oh no, I know what's about to happen. And sure enough, she sits there for a little while longer, and I can imagine the wheels in her brain are turning, and she's trying to decide if it's worth getting out of line or not. And apparently it was. So she gets out of line, she turns around, and she makes a beeline for me. So, take a deep breath. I prepare myself for impact, right? And sure enough, she comes up to me and she says, look, I just wanted to come back here. I saw you, and I just wanted to come back here, and I just wanted to tell you that I was going to invite you to my church, because we have a lot of different programs that can help you deal with things in your life. So, okay, so I'm looking at her. I'm not going to lie, because I could lie and pretend like I didn't do this, but I actually did this, and I thought to myself, Karen, that was so awful of me to think that, but I did. And my next thought was, she looked around this room and she saw me, and she thought that I looked like the one out of all these people that needed the most help. I looked like the one that was the most dangerous to society, and I needed saving and fixing. So these are the thoughts going on in my head, right? I'm thinking all these things, and what is it doing? First of all, it's me thinking these things. She's not saying these things. I'm thinking these things, but I am also starting to get angry. I'm starting to feel a bit resentful. I'm starting to feel a little spiteful. And my initial reaction is, no, I'm just kidding. My initial reaction is that I want to look at her and say, maybe I could take this time to invite you to listen to some of my messages. We've been studying James, and there was a big section in there about not judging other people. And I know right here is where so many of you are going, yeah, that's what you should have said. Yeah, that'll show her. And there is that part inside of me that almost said that. And the Holy Spirit stopped me. And the Holy Spirit said, no. Go to your car. So instead, I looked at her and I said, thank you very much for inviting me to your church. I really appreciate you taking the time and the effort to come back here and talk to me. I do have a church that I go to regularly, but thank you for inviting me. So we all went our merry way. And I get in the car and I'm like, why'd you stop me? She really needed me to teach her something. One thing I have learned, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget it. When you start feeling holier than thou, you are always wrong. Always. There's never any point in time when you start feeling holier than thou that you're right. You're always wrong. So the Holy Spirit started speaking to me, and the Holy Spirit said, what if that woman got up this morning and she prayed, God, what can I do to help spread your word? What can I do to minister to people? And what if God told her, I want you to go out there and invite somebody to church today? And what if she was scared to talk to other people and she had social anxiety? And what if she went to Dollar General and she thought, this is my opportunity. There's so many people here. And what if she looked around that room and she saw me, and the Holy Spirit led her to me, because what if I was the least offensive in that room? What if I was the person she felt the safest talking to? What if my spirit led her to me so that I could be a blessing to her in allowing her to accomplish something that God told her to do? What if my reaction is what made her feel that she could go out and do something bigger? What if the wrong reaction would have completely turned her against witnessing to anyone ever again? Wowzer, right? That is really deep, but it really hit me profoundly and just about brought me to tears, like it's just about to do now, to think of how often we run into people and we don't know their story. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know how difficult it was for them to get out of bed that morning. We don't know how hard it was for them to just make it to the store to get those essentials that they have to have. One word out of our mouth can either bless them or destroy them. What if we are their blessing? What if we are their answer to prayer? What if they got up that morning and they planned on taking their own life, And what if God sent that person to the place and time right there in front of you so that you could encourage them and save their life? So what started out as a funny story really, really taught me a lesson. That in my process of feeling judged, I was actually the one doing the judging. And that's our thought for today.